You like it. Welcome into Broken Home. I'm going to actually scooch in and make sure I'm in the shirt just in case. Welcome to Broken Home, the podcast where being broke ain't all bad. I'm your host, Jeremy Webb, and joining me this week, Luke Bleeser.
Hey, how we doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing pretty well, mate. How long's it been since you've been on a mic?
No, I held one recently, actually. We had a corporate function at work.
And how was Mike? Sorry.
But no, I haven't done any comedy in well over 10 years at this stage.
Well, it didn't have to be comedy. You could have been doing something else. You do have the radio voice. I'm always surprised you haven't just, picked that up.
Well, for a while there, and this is an odd thing to mention, but there's a group of people writing stuff on the internet called Humans Are Space Orcs, and the whole idea is that every other alien that you meet is incredibly weak, and humans are just, they heal, they're impossibly strong. Mm-hmm. We're always a surprise to everyone, so I read a couple of those for some people and on forward to them. I don't know where the hell they've ended up, though. I can't find them anywhere.
You get a bit of that. I remember recording a few things for people, and you're like, when's that coming out? And they're like, we're doing it.
They had me repeating the phrase, harder, daddy, a lot in them, so I'm not too sure where the recordings have ended up, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think I'm not sure if I've told this on here. Get a little hotter on that mic for me. Yeah, there you go.
Is that hot enough for you?
Yeah, thanks, James. It's really also proving my point that I was making, definitely. The time at a convention where I was cosplaying as the Black Power Ranger. So I'm in full morph suit. I've got a cling wrap corset on at that time because I wasn't looking good. But I definitely didn't want to look like some of the other Power Rangers we saw kicking around. Because, if you are the tubby White Ranger kicking around,
yeah,
we were running away from one for a convention.
And morph suits are not forgiving in any way, shape, or form.
A couple of dudes doing the Spider-Man competition, getting up there on stage and not wearing a dancer's belt. Didn't even stuff. Just, you can see an outline, a little top bit of a question mark.
Chock full of web.
Not even. At least that would have padded
No,
out
I
the
meant
sides.
you after the con.
Always, mate. In fact, if anything, more went back in.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, just kicking around as the Black Power Ranger. And then some woman coming up to me with a camera and just dude, you hear it turn on, start recording. She goes, "Can you dance for me?" And I can't really respond in the helmet or anything properly. You can't say much in there. So it was just easier to go shrug and then just do some dancing or whatever. And then just eventually I've just sort of stopped and is that good? Just giving the thumbs up. And she just goes, "Thank you," and walks off. I've never seen any footage with that in it. I've never seen a thing where people were being made to dance and I got cut out. That's just been filmed and then someone walked away.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, at least there's a part of me that goes, hey, at least I am attractive to that
Did
person.
the shrink wrap underbust hold up, or did you end up doing the full truffle shuffle at that stage?
Oh, no, it held up.
Oh, Jesus.
I had a mate of mine who is very... Because I was doing costumes with him, and my other mates were very good at costumes. And it was almost to the point of, he's very nice, never would outright say it, but if your costume's not good enough, we're not hanging out during the day.
Is elitist cosplayer.
It's well, that's the thing, because they get the photos, that's how they sell the costumes, that's how they do all that shit. So it's if you're standing near me, we're going to be in photos, at the same time. You can either that or stand you hold the bags. Straight up. If you have the shittest costume, you hold the bags.
So you just became...
I refuse to be bag bitch by default.
Fair enough.
I want to be at least fighting
You
for the
didn't
spot.
end up the awkward boyfriend standing in the middle of the shopping center.
Oh, yeah. Except for, fucking 3 twinks that look amazing. And just... All right, mate. My entire costume is about on par with one of their wigs.
Hot as hell, walks in just, fucking, I hate that bitch.
A number of times... Just watching, people always be oh, the nerds hanging out with they're chasing the hot girl and the cosplayers around. And that definitely happens. But watching the pretty boys walking around, I'm coming out of a Bieber concert in fucking 2014. Just people at fucking underarm height, just a fucking sea of them. And I'm just wading out, hoping not to get dragged under the current.
There are a lot of people that would be very happy with that scenario, though.
Nah. I think it's got to be a gay man who's getting away with this, because otherwise it's... Okay, straight man in his 20s getting flooded by like 14-year-old girls. I'm not.
That's an uncomfortable situation
Yeah.
for fucking anybody.
Especially when you've got to have that. It's weird enough when you're having a conversation with a mate when he's got one girlfriend that's a bit young.
Yeah, what is it?
Like,
What
someone's
is it with
like, you know-
cosplayers, and you meet them, you're hanging out with them, you're talking about lore of some fucking random fandom that you haven't spoken, and then you meet their girlfriend, and you're like, this feels predatory.
Yeah, if you're going that way.
It is a common niche. I don't know what it is, but there are a lot of cosplayers out there that have just got really young partners.
It's because there's a divide in anime characters for men, I think. Because there's the pretty boy, you know, that sort of look, but then there's the like
like
old
Guts?
muscle man. There's the
Oh, like Guts?
from
Berserk.
yeah, sure. I
Oh, yeah, sure, whatever
no,
you were saying.
with my taste in anime, it's the same as mine with like TV shows, less so of late, but like movies, music. It's very eclectic, I say nicely, but it's an absolute just fucking scatter shot.
Yeah, because it's not a genre, it's an art style more than anything else.
There's a lot of trends, man.
Yeah.
Like I just started
So,
watching one with
There's
Tiff.
a lot of that in Bollywood movies too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we clumped them together under a term. It's called foreign films. No.
Alien films, yes.
Yeah, ugh. I hate those. That foreign film independent. Anyway, so on the show we normally get, if it's the first time someone comes on, we just get a bit of backstory as to when they were sort of brokers through their life. So where did you grow up? How did you start off?
I grew up in a shitty little suburb in Victoria called Clayton.
You are a person who said you've mentioned yourself being Irish Catholic along the times or something like that. So I'm like, okay, these cunts were broke. Like, you don't mention that. You don't mention your church unless you're fucking poor.
We were Irish Catholic on both sides of the family, which
Of
Murphy
course.
and the Kelly clan. And yeah, I have so many fucking cousins.
Mhm.
My mum was like one of 7 or 9 or something like that. Dad
Hell
was
yeah.
one of 5. Like there are a lot of these pillocks running around. But
Oh, yeah.
grew up in Clayton. 2 older brothers. Dad worked human resources at the Alfred. You know, mum was a tax clerk. So you know, we weren't ever wealthy.
Mhm.
Like they loved us dearly and did everything that they possibly could for us. So we had access to video games and all the rest of it. We weren't so dirt poor that we didn't have anything in the house. But
Yeah.
I mean, most of our time kicking around, you know, dude, I don't think I actually got my own like brand new set of clothes until I turned about 15 or so, because I'd been wearing
Yeah.
hand-me-downs
Oh,
my
for sure.
entire fucking life.
Yeah, I've got the older brother who, because that's the thing, he was slim as fuck, and I got thick across the chest real early. So it was if we were a lot closer in age, so anything that went to Robert then went to me, and then me and Dylan were the same sort of size. So for a while it would go to him,
Yeah.
but then it became more of a fight, if we wanted it at all, because Robert's style was terrible.
As a weird turn
Truly.
of events,
I hope he watches this.
when we hit teenage years, Mum and Dad felt that education was the most important thing to us. So they invested heavily into our education. So they sent us to Salesian, which is an all-boys private Catholic school.
Now I can tell in your voice.
More commonly known in Victoria as Pufters Paradise, because in my year level, 2 boys were found in the horticulture room not doing horticulture.
Anyway.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, was that nickname like branded in the press or just by other schools?
No, just
like,
other schools, because they had what was called, I think it was SSC, which is, SCC, which was secondary sport Catholic college conglomerate or some crap like that. I can't remember what the exact acronym was, but all of the Catholic
nothing like
schools,
anything that an acronym has Catholic and conglomerate in the
I
fucking
know
name.
it was some shit, man. But
Yeah.
all the different Catholic schools would play sport against each other. So you'd be
Ah,
up
yeah.
against De La Salle. You know, whenever we had a formal, it was with Sacred Heart. You know, we knew all the girls from Star of the Sea, who had a fantastic reputation, by the way.
Oh, see, out our way, it was just, there's the 2 schools in town. A lot of the people who was close enough would just come into those schools. And so when we were playing like inter-school thing, it was like twice a year. There was like a inter-school football, netball, and then like an athletics day was it. And we never learned who the other schools were. They were just the opponent in the fight we were about to have. You know, like,
So effectively, this program just brought you fodder.
Oh, yeah, this was just... But it was even from then as well. They're just like, okay, the schools are all getting together. It's the same way that families would get somebody to pretend was Santa. They're like, we'll get them all together. We'll get all of the ideas for Christmas. The kids will all love it. They'll be in a good mood. Inter-school sports for us was that. It's just like, give us all your delinquents. We'll put them all here on the same day. They'll just...
wear themselves out.
Yeah, just really isolate. They'll be more bonded, so they're less likely to fight each other when they get back. It's just like set them loose on each other for bonding.
It was just very restrained and and a lot of these guys came from wealthier families.
Oh, of course they
We
did.
were the poorest kids in the school by a fucking long margin, and it was interesting because you didn't realize that until you went to somebody else's house for dinner or something, and you were walking around going, "What the fucking? How do you? Why is there a TV room, a living room, a sitting room? Why? How do you have this much real estate? What the fuck is going on?"
See, at Airways, you still had a big house. Like, you still had enough room. It's just how much is that room falling in on itself?
My parents bought a two-bedroom, and they had it expanded out, so it became a 4-bedroom. Them and the 3 kids. But it was packed to the fuck in, man. It was not a big house.
Well, we at one stage had Amy had her own room and then 3 boys in the other bedroom. Which,
I
when you have a teenage older brother, that is a bad fucking room to sleep in. Cunt.
Yep. I had a bunk with the middle brother because the eldest brother was afforded his own room.
Sorry, I thought you said for a minute there the world jumbled. I'm like, yeah, I had the middle bunk. I'm like, you had a 3-tier fucking bunk bed?
Yeah, like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, but they're chipmunk sized, cunt. Like, how high are your ceilings?
Chipmunk size.
The
Have you seen
acoustics
that?
in
They
your
stand
hallways.
next to the old man, and they're like, they're a good.
Oh, yeah, they're like
Yeah,
real life beaver sized.
Yeah, well, they're clearly mutated or something, but they're not chipmunk sized.
Who tailors clothes for the chipmunks?
That is an excellent question. And there's always like the long T-shirt and stuff. So I don't think they tailor it. I think they just like whatever fits, spray paint the letter of their name onto it and send them off. And if we color code it, it'll be easier to spot, like tell them apart.
Is it kids' clothes that would fit like that? Because they'd be longer, like sort of
either that
go over a onesie kind of look, or like to stretch over a
I feel
diaper?
like you stick the 3 of them in a car, you drive down to the nearest Savers, and whatever sticks, that's what you buy.
Yeah. Man, even that. I won't go into that one. The Savers Angry is one that I don't want to bring up again.
Yeah, so Savers was my father's favourite store of all time, and I still remember him beaming with pride one day. I said, "A new singlet, Dad?" I said, "Yep, second hand." Cost me $5.
My dad was the step beyond that, where he's just not buying clothes. Clothes would appear for him sometimes. Like,
what?
Okay, he'd buy work clothes, obviously.
Yeah,
Got to have the work blues and the Blundstones. Got to put some money in your boots, mate. And he literally meant buying his boots and also hiding money in his boots. Money
Like
in your
a true
boots.
truck driver.
Put money in your boots. Yeah. Nobody's fighting. Anyway.
You knock a man unconscious, check his boots. That's where his wallet is.
Shouldn't be telling people that.
Well,
That's inside baseball, mate.
They've got to learn at some point that the best $50 notes that you can take off an unconscious man have toe jam on them. I'm sorry. They need to learn these
I meant more
things.
than I'm telling people that that's where money is. But I'm, of course, realizing anybody who's going to rob a man wearing Blundstones know to look in his fucking shoes.
I'm now remembering...
Or he's just taking the shoes.
I'm now remembering back to the days when I worked in Aldi just running stuff through registers and the amount of, like, older Greek women that would come through pay in cash, and it would always be the, like, reach in to the gross, sweaty, overstuffed bra and then pull out a wad of slick
Reaching
money.
around to area 2 of tit A.
Just got to get down to that lower hemisphere. That's where the change is.
Come back through the gate.
I pick cash. Oh, God.
No, that's where you need like a cat litter shovel and you just switch it up.
I got a first and final warning once because I maintained eye contact with a woman and put on nitrile gloves. Before I accepted the money, and then I hand sanitized it when she handed it to me before I counted it. So that was very inappropriate. I said, I want to touch her boobs. What's wrong with you people? It's a hygiene concern.
Yeah, but the problem wasn't all of that. The problem was licking your lips the entire duration.
I mean...
They were chads. They were so chads. Such chappy lips. Well, I put these gloves on from your gross titties.
Well, you know, it was very dry, and she was a tall drink of water. Man was thirsty.
Don't lie, Greek women aren't that tall.
No.
Actually, no, never mind.
Where were you going with that?
They tend to shoot up, shoot down, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's that, you reach a certain age and they do shrink massively.
They do. It's like one of the very large like discrepancies between like the tall like Greek lady and then when you go from being a Greek woman to a Greek lady is a very...
So, and this is the thing, like you can count how old a tree is by counting the rings after you cut it in half. If you measure a Greek woman, you know exactly how old or how young she is, depending on whether she's ascending or declining.
I always thought they worked on a density thing, and you like, if you put them through a pasta maker, an older person will go like far longer.
No, but they shrink at a certain point, so it's got to be sort of a bounce back, I guess.
It does look like you could bounce on some of those old Greek ladies like a spring.
No.
Yeah. In like a Crash Bandicoot kind of way.
Oh, good
Like
God.
they're just walking around getting their groceries, and then you need to get up to the second balcony.
Yeah, so you got to use that as a launching pad.
Yeah.
There's your double jump.
Yeah, and then she's on the ground with her groceries. She goes, "Whoa." It takes a few seconds before you can use her again.
I think if she was on the ground, the first thing you'd probably hear would be Malacca, but
Failed podcaster.
Stavros! Stavros, the man is jumping on me again.
Failed podcaster arrested for jumping on Greek women at the local mall.
Oh, man. So there was a terrible television show that was produced by
more
David...
than one of those, mate.
I know. It was produced by David Letterman in the 90s.
Okay.
Called Ed.
I thought you were just going to have a go at Late Night with David Letterman.
No. I didn't hate the show. It was just it just never found its footing. But they had a premise in it, these two mates, and in every single episode or so that they do this, they just bet each other $5 to do something randomly. And it becomes very apparent very, very quickly that it's not about the cash. It's just a fun way for them to fuck with each other.
Of course.
And some of the bets, and I've been watching through the season again, just some of the bets are fantastic.
All right, what do you got?
Well, it's very similar to Super Troopers in this sense, but it's like you have to go over there and ask that man for directions, but call him mommy.
Yep.
And just general havoc of that nature.
Yeah. Well,
is this podcast going to devolve into us betting each other $5 to jump on Greek women in supermarkets? Is where I'm going with this.
I think my previous statement implied that I was just going to do it anyway. You don't even need to be there.
Good.
I'm just going to see it and not be able to help myself. It's just like, it's an intrusive thought now. But I've had it in advance. So the intrusive thought now becomes, how do I do it?
So it's no longer an intrusive thought. It's
more of a stamp on the inside of my skull. It's up on the board now.
Excuse me, madam. Yes, just one question. Are you from Greece? No? Fuck. Get the hell away from me. I don't need you.
Just offending. Like that's
Find me a Greek woman immediately.
The reason you actually get arrested is because you just kept going around a shopping centre insulting old Italian women by asking if they're Greek.
Would that insult them, or would they just be like...
I think there's a natural level of insult that people would take if you ask them if you're from the wrong place.
I mean, they'd be insulted if you walked over and said Greece was shit, Rome had the better empire. That would probably cause some fisticuffs. But
yeah, but again, that you'd need to ask where they're from first and know if that was going to be good, bad, or otherwise.
Yeah, very true.
The otherwise just being someone who's not offended and then just like, I don't read books, man.
Well,
people like that exist everywhere.
I think you don't have to ask them. Just follow them around, and if they get tzatziki or mozzarella, you know what's going on.
I feel, yeah.
Hey, we're going to go into the stereotypes.
We're just going to get... That's not even the stereotypes. We're down to just the food. But
not all Greek people like tzatziki.
So your parents still live reasonably nearby. Did you study at any stage?
Huh?
What were you studying?
Oh, no, I have no higher education.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty broken itself. But does anyone in your family? Because, like, my
brother had aspirations to study at NICA.
Oh, yeah. Does he get medicated for it?
Not NICA. No, that's the National Institute of Circus Arts. What's the acting one?
NIDA.
NIDA, there you go. So, yeah, he wanted to do that because he found out Heath Ledger went there. But their acceptance rate is so low that you just never got in.
Yeah. It's a similar thing because they do different programs. So, like, I've had people trying to get into there for sound engineering stuff and, like, and yeah, it's pretty much that across the board. But I always find with those kinds of things where you can just sort of do it anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I always find those a bit weird because it's like
because I didn't
know how to use fucking computers when I went to go study that. Basically,
I mean, the secondary school I went to was technically a college because you could take elective VET courses there. So I do have Certificate 3 in audio engineering and lighting engineering and event production. But
yeah, because then I don't have any of that, but I've definitely been paid more times than you for that.
Oh, 100%. Oh, absolutely.
Like, because I just knew a dude who's like, can you do this? I'm like, I got 20 minutes to get on the internet. I'll figure it out.
Yep, and that's how I get anything done these days. I don't have a higher education, but I have access to a search engine, and I'm not an idiot. So that tends to be the only reason I've succeeded in any part of my life.
I've said it before, the main thing I took away from my course is learning how to Google very efficiently.
Yep.
It's just the best skill you can actually have. It's like the same thing, I used to do martial arts for a while there. In like when I was
did martial arts?
Yeah, I did like 4 or 5 years
of
like Japanese jiu-jitsu.
No shit.
Yeah. Good fun.
God.
But it's even interrupted now. I've completely forgotten.
I was really hoping you'd say something outlandish like, "Oh yeah, I did Krav Maga" or something like that.
No, I just did whatever was nearby that didn't seem too full of fuckheads. It's the best way to choose a martial arts place, really. But doing that, when I think back, it's like, oh, okay, what do you actually still use? And it's like none of the fighting. If anything, the main thing I learned is how to fall down. And I'm not even joking.
Well, that's what jiu-jitsu is.
But I mean, as a practical skill, because it's like that's something where you actually need to defend yourself. I would wager that
you're probably better at moving a fridge now than you were previously.
Oh, there's certain stuff where like keeping your balance or what have you.
Yeah,
but I just mean
exactly.
like if people go, oh, okay, teach me something. The best thing that I think would be able to teach them is like this is how you stack, like because a lot of it is not so much about how you get thrown to the ground by somebody. It's just
how you cavort your form so that you roll instead of going bang and hurting yourself.
Yeah, even the front ones are fucking terrifying. You ever seen a front break fall?
I have.
Like the one where you're landing on your front.
Yeah.
Just that's terrifying the first time you're getting taught to do that. It's like, okay, stand here, sort of lean forward a bit. Now what you're going to do is just jump and your legs just go backwards and you are just going to be full fucking like belly flop position. And I'm like, cool. And they're like, then you just land like this. I'm like, can we get more instruction on the second bit?
Yeah, I'm going dick and face first into the ground. Please, for the love of fucking God, give me some.
And then the only advice they gave me is like, yeah, just put your knees down slightly or you are just going to crush your own balls when you land.
Yep.
And that's the only advice I got. I'm like, what about my face? They go, I go to do it the first time. They're like, oh, yeah. Turn your head to the side so you break your nose. Or you'll break your nose.
Don't go nose into the fucking concrete floor.
Because like that's people's instinct is you just keep watching the ground as you come down and just fucking smash yourself. But it's just, it's very like satisfying as well. Like when you first do it and you land it, your whole body like collides at the same time to completely spread the, and you just get a like, boom. You just go, yeah, cool.
Oh, so it's like dapping in that sense.
Yeah, you just land it perfectly, like get that sound sort of carry through. Because especially on tatami mats, there's a certain thwack you can get.
Now, you and I are both big Billy fans.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that bit that he does about every single sport, there's a sound when it's done correctly? Do you remember that bit?
No,
he talks
but
about
it's definitely...
This is exactly the concept.
Yeah.
In golf, it's that... In pool, it's the perfect. If you hear it, you know somebody's done it correctly. It's that very satisfying sound. And he talked about then a guy who was previously a boxer punched a dude in the face, and he said it was the best noise I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate, when done correctly, slamming down on a tamami mat correctly would just have that pitch perfect, satisfying noise.
Even I think it's more the mats themselves that get away with that because it's just that flat single impact.
Yeah.
Because it's like nobody's rolled out of anything and anything like that. It's just a very good thing to get. Bam! You've thrown them straight down. They've landed. You've won. So look at that. But I find sort of across sports, there's a lot of the time where silence is the most impressive. Because like when you're thinking of like forward rolls and stuff, the best ones that you'd see are like almost silent.
Yeah,
people just like do that and like
just,
dancing and stuff.
Yeah,
like
they've
the
just
big
rolled
leap
themselves
is really
up in a ball and sonicked across the fucking room and not made any noise.
Yeah, and like in dance, it's the same thing. It's like the huge big leap is impressive, but if they fucking slam down like somebody's dropped a cinder block on the stage.
Yeah, then the judges... And in those instances, those sports have more to do with grace than they do with about expert precision.
Yeah. I suppose in most others you'd want height, but like Ones where I expect you'd want that, it goes the opposite, like darts. Like, you look in, like, basketball, if you're the home team, especially in, like, a college ball, sometimes you get silence in a stadium so that you can concentrate. And then the other end, absolutely not. Just fucking chaos. But you'd expect with darts it to be sort of that. But the first time I watched darts on TV, it is fucking chimpanzees just hooting and hollering, just fucking swathering.
And traditionally, you know, British, and it's not high, it's chavs. It's absolute chavs. It's not tovs.
It's lunacy.
It is just every single Manchester United fan with a partially shaved fucking head and tattoos on their faces. Come on, do it, Johnny!
Yeah. I once saw this clip.
There's always
5
a fat
rounds
dude
back
too.
to back. Oh, yeah.
It's always a fat dude.
Lower center of gravity. Yeah. And a fat wrist gives you that natural trebuchet motion. But just watching, it's 5 sets, rounds, whatever it is, when you throw your 3 darts. 5 in a row 180s. Back to back between these 2 guys. And watching the crowd escalate between each 180, between each call, you just can't hear the instructor, like the guy calling the scores by the 4th one. And then the guy lining up to go the 5th. There's no noise, like, or any camera that's picking up audio in the place is static because these people are just fucking banging shit and everything's going off. And then he nails the 5th one. And I'm pretty sure just the video I was watching for comedic effect just cut the footage, like they'd torn the building down. But I'm like, they could have. These people were losing their minds.
And then you go across to, once again, another very popular sport in Britain with a weird audience situation. You go across to the pool, where if someone fucking sneezes, that person gets escorted out by security.
And the weird setup where they've only got, like, it's just set up like a jury.
Yeah,
it's just like these. It's just rows of like 2 sets of pews. It's like you've got 12 men just fucking set up all around you in little rows. Everyone judging you. If your vest is out of place, fuck, you're gonna hear about it in the headlines.
And that's the real thing. I think is the emotional fucking strength that these men have to stand there and just like, fucking hell, if I fart right now, my career is over.
No, oh man, you're gonna lose this pool game because there's a crease in your fucking pants. Like that, there's no other sport.
I would love
cricket's not that bad.
I know. I would love to see just halfway through like a high-end snooker tournament, just the bloke's wife run out with a fucking steam wand and just lint roller him as he's trying to set up the break.
They're all dressed as caddies.
Oh, that's fantastic. No.
Sports need caddies.
Bring me the longer cue. And he comes out and he's literally got the golf bag over his shoulder.
The
baggy green.
In it. Yeah, scraping along the roof because you're not meant to hold them that high. Like,
so there's a pool hall down the road from here that I went to go check out. Because they had a 3/4 size snooker table and I wanted to play on a bigger table.
Okay.
And I went down there.
It's weird to have 3/4 and not get the whole thing.
But the thing is, this building, it clearly used to be like a business of some kind. Because you know those false ceiling tile things that they hang down?
Yeah.
You've got those, but they just painted them black. So I'm playing in the 3/4.
The idea of painting those anything is just like,
it was like painting a sponge. A weird decision. But maybe the ceiling was, I don't know, it couldn't have been more than like 1.8 meters or somewhere in that region. So I've gone for the extension, picked it up, speared the ceiling tiles because at full height, it's only got about an inch before it hits the ground, and I'm holding it upright. Spear it, look over at the guy and go, I am so sorry. And he just continued to clean a glass and just pointed up. And I looked up and there's just white holes perfectly lining out the edges of this entire table.
I mean, if you keep doing it long enough, then you've got like a star map style look to it.
It was like a Wile E. Coyote bit, man. It was perfectly cut out in the roof.
Honestly, now that I've thought about that, if that was intentionally a long play, I'm into that. Paint it full black because idiots are going to be fucking poking holes in it. We'll have a cool dotty thing going on. Yeah, I'm a contractor. It'll be done in 6 years and it'll naturally do itself.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Let's pause on that because I want to talk about those roof tiles slightly more. So we'll be back in 1 sec when I've reset the cameras.
When you need a break, here's what to take. Break a finger on us. Scotch finger biscuits. It's the one break that's ready in a shake. Break a finger on us. Scotch finger biscuits.
So rich and buttery. Arnott's make their Scotch finger biscuits with wholesome eggs and creamy butter.
Want to share a break? Then for goodness sake, break a finger. Arnott's Scotch finger biscuits.
And we're back. Our school had nothing but those square sponge tiles in like the new portables that they got, which was the VCE center.
Oh, yeah, those temporary things they put in every single school. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's a temporary building until we'll build the new thing. And they
It's
just
like you
stay-
put a ramp on it.
Yeah,
You've bolted it to the ground.
it's going to stay there for 20 years.
Yeah, and even when you do the new building, you just put a hallway in front of that.
And then you got the year threes to paint the side of it.
How are every schools like this?
They must have been some contract group that went, we can get these portable classrooms and at a low cost and have them delivered. There had to be some
And then
sort
one
of scheme
sort
going
of,
on.
it must just be, oh, we'll give you rebates, or you get cheap pricing because the government's fucking decided this one's
You
going to be
could
the
always
one.
tell the suburbs that got the solar panel rebates because you pass by and every fucker's got them.
I mean, good. But
Yeah, 100%.
but the worst thing with ours is like, in the actual portables, they had something else. I can't even remember what was there. So it was mostly in the VCE center with these. So it was mostly the kids that are meant to still be there trying to do things. Because like year 10's your cap out when that's when you're doing all your trades and stuff, or just not continuing
When you see
school.
a shit ton of kids dropping the fuck out because they legally can now.
Yeah, exactly. It's the switch from, year 10 at high school to VCE.
Yeah.
So we're meant to be well behaved by that point. But there was still enough of us left that there was just fucking... And to be fair, there were some year 10 classes that you'd take in the VCE center rooms. And man, you should have seen if we walked a bit too close to that like VCE kitchen area. They're very defensive of like, you're not in VCE. You can't use the microwave. Like, because we...
Did you guys have... what was the uniform like? Did you have blazers or what were you guys rocking?
I think I've mentioned this before. So originally, it's your pretty standard grey pants, grey shorts.
Yep.
Had to buy the school grey shorts because they had little like adjustable
emblems
buckle.
or some shit?
No, not even.
Oh, fuck
They just
off.
could tell the style because it didn't have little buckles on the side. So you had to do that.
Spotlight and super glue, mate.
Black leather shoes.
Yep.
Can't have runners.
Yep. Non-marking soles, as they used to say.
Beg your pardon?
Non-marking soles.
That's what they said the black shoes were.
Yeah.
Well, we proved those fuckers wrong. A whole point of wearing those shoes was the marks, as far as we were concerned.
Oh,
because
100%. I
you
used
go
to
in the
sign my
bathroom.
name in the basketball courts.
Oh, no, we go to the bathroom, and it was like you'd see them. You just cover, like, maybe 2 feet up the wall. But then there was, like, the challenge row. And it's just who can kick high enough while still getting their shoe. And it's like you go in there at lunchtime, you just hear this clattering of kids trying to do fucking backflips to kick the fucking... And the thing was, you'd never take the shoe off and put it up there because it was just this, like, nah, we already don't know who's on the board. Like, there's no point not doing it. It's all about... it's all for you.
Yeah.
And maybe the boys who are hanging out in the toilets. But
Where the dicks hang out.
yeah. But it was just, absolutely never heard that term. Because, again, I think if they told us that, we would have had my exact
it was
reaction.
in our instructions in uniforms that they had to be non-marking soles.
Oh, that's right. If it was written down, you're fine.
Yeah, we didn't follow any of those fucking rules.
White button-up shirts.
Yep.
Short sleeve acceptable all year, so there wasn't you didn't have to switch to a fucking long
we had
sleeve
that
shirt.
as well. You could be short sleeve.
Blue emblemed jumper.
Yep.
Again, I think we're in very similar situations because we went to an incredibly shit private school and were the brokers cunts there.
Yep.
With this next bit of it. So when I was in year...
No, but harkening back to my question, so you didn't have blazers?
They brought them in. This is where I'm getting to, right? So it's all pretty standard stuff. But then they brought in these new blazer rules when I was in like year 10. And the biggest thing was like, if it was like, oh, just get a blazer, I'm like, I can ignore that. But they had these weird rules where like, oh, if you want to wear a jumper, you have to wear your blazer and a jumper. But if you're not, like, if it's too hot for that, you have to just wear your blazer. You can't have just a jumper. So it was just all these rules of like, whatever combo you've got, it's either just your shirt or blazer and then whatever else.
No, we had a...
But we had one blazer to share between Dylan and I because...
Very, very similar uniform setup to yourself. Grey slacks, a white shirt, then a green blazer until you hit VCE.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was
you got
black
the
slacks.
Oh.
And then we got a blue blazer. So
Right.
your whole thing about, like, you guys can't use that microwave, those like, we got terrorized for 4 fucking years by the older students. I remember my older brothers.
It's a bit weird to dress different too.
Yeah.
Like
they
fucking-
segregated us. It was fucking bizarre, man.
It's like fucking Star Trek.
No, I was thinking it was more like, well, yeah, I suppose Star Trek is actually a really good. Like, yeah, you were an ensign for 4 years, and then you became a Starfleet commander.
And then you just fuck ensign. No.
Oh, and that was the thing. But I remember, like, some guy trying to beat the ever-living shit out of me. Giant kid in year 12.
Yeah.
And my older brother picking him up and putting him against the fucking wall and just going, no, not Bleezers. No, mate, you've made a mistake. And then the middle one, who was an absolute nutcase, going, "You're such a lark!" Like 14 people charging this guy.
Nah, I didn't have that going on. Me, it was more my older brother would cause shit, and then I'd be sort of dealing with the ripples a bit later on.
In that very scared young man's defense, I may have been teasing him endlessly for his shit haircut.
Oh, so you're one of those pieces of shit. The little cartoon guy with one fucking eye closed all the time, leaning out from behind. Yeah, get him, boss.
Because he'd been saying some shit to a friend of mine, so I started ripping into him because I didn't take kindly to that. So he started trying to kick the shit out of me, and it escalated into it was called the quadrangle.
Yeah, most places have them.
For fuck's sake, it's just, you'll never hear that word anywhere outside of a secondary school in your bloody life.
I'm sure there's some city planners that would describe a quadrangle park or some sort of
those
nonsense.
were the guys that
but not in public.
Yeah, those were the architects that enjoyed being at secondary school. Fucking happiest days of my life. I got ducks. Get the fuck away from me.
I enjoyed graphics class. Nobody fucking enjoyed graphics class. It was fun with the paper that gets you the isometric angles to draw little castles. Really,
yeah, that was
fucking,
fun.
That's fun.
Graphic paper was amazing for that.
Yeah.
I'd never once used it for graphics. I used it for drawing shit all the time.
If that's what they said, you walk in, they go, here's graph paper, draw shit, but only using the lines. Go, whatever you want. You go, fuck yeah, I'll beat you at that. Or like,
Yeah, I did starships
around
and all
with
sorts
that.
of stuff. It was good fun.
Yeah, sure, it's high school. There's a few swastikas. You're going to get that.
I've actually got a story about that shit.
Go for it.
Catholic school, as mentioned.
It's all right, this is tagged, it's not for kids.
But we had mandatory religion class.
Oh, fair play.
Yeah.
RE.
And yeah, 100% RE. And they took us to a synagogue to learn about Judaism.
I am going to pause you there because I'll remember where you're up to. Did they always pair together RE and PD for you?
PD?
Personal development.
No, we didn't.
So that's where you get sex ed and all that shit. So
Oh,
our
yeah,
RE
yeah,
teacher
yeah,
and our
yes.
PD teacher were often the same.
Yeah, I got taught life
These are
lessons
condoms,
about
never
sex
use them.
from a priest. A man who took a vow of celibacy taught me sexual education. And I don't think I've ever had a more hypocritical fucking lesson in my life.
That spelling the alphabet shit is just fucking nonsense. What do you want to be doing?
Oh my God. But yeah, that was just, and who knows what part of the woman this is? All of us but you, Father.
So yes, you went to the synagogue.
Yeah, so we went to the
That's
synagogue, and one of the guys had, you remember the old compasses, draw circles and that sort of thing, but it had the spiky point in it?
Of course.
Had one of those on him, so he carved a swastika into one of their goddamn pews in the synagogue.
No.
Yeah,
come on,
I know.
man.
So the things that came out of that, one, that kid was fucking expelled immediately,
Oh,
and
of
as
course.
he fucking should have been, because that was disgusting. But I still remember a teacher coming up to me and just like, hey, look, were you in the area? Did you see anything, like, before they'd nabbed him? And I'm like, no,
Who the
man.
fuck was your teacher? Fucking Columbo. What
What
do you see? What do you see around here?
Put the spotlight on. What do you know?
I'm much a bit more fan of like putting the spotlight in the
and
face.
I said,
and
man,
like,
I
we're all your
I was
friends.
sat on the other side of the synagogue. I didn't fucking see anything. I don't fucking know anything. And he's like,
Can't, smart kid like you. He must have seen something over there.
well, that was the thing. He was.
I don't wanna have to bring my partner
effectively
in
what he
here.
said was like, someone has to know something, and I just need information. You know, we know we know who did it. We just want
You
to
were
know
asked to
if
give
anyone
a
tried to
fake
stop him,
testimony.
Any of the rest of it. I said, well, what's the problem? And he said, well, the synagogue has to remove the pew and burn it. I'm like, oh shit. Which makes perfect sense. It was desanctified, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Sand it back?
Just chip out that chunk of wood.
I mean, it's very easy to jump to a Jewish joke there, but I won't.
Now, let's keep it classy, shall we?
All right, I'll put it this way. As if that pew's not in some dude's house.
Oh, my God. Is that where you were going to go with that?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. It's perfectly good. I'm not going to buy a new seat for my fucking shoe rack. I didn't even mean to put the shoe reference
I
in.
think we were doing so well. We didn't hit anti-Semitism once. And you were just like, I can steamroll this in about 5 fucking
somebody
seconds.
decides to fucking not count the break to his score.
Oh, my God.
It'll be right. No one cares.
Yeah, RE class, man, getting taught by a priest. Our principal was a father, for Christ's sake. We had brothers that stayed at the school.
Oh, so we had the nuns living next door, so that was like...
Ah,
but they were great, because they were just mental old biddies by that point. So they just come over and give us cakes in detention, and the fucking teachers
Cakes and detention?
No, cakes in detention. They don't teach anymore. They just live next door and just sort of, like, penguin around. But then we'd be just sitting there in detention, like, not allowed to talk at all. They come and knock on the window, like, oh, we got lemon bars for you. And the teachers just can't do anything about it because they're nuns. So we just get to be, oh, thanks, sister. So we're in detention, just smashing
I do remember
treats.
getting what would be the corporate equivalent of sensitivity training with a bunch of other students one day, and we were sat down, and they're like, we're going to talk about feelings and how we can hurt people with their words. So we're not going to be using the phrase, Brother Jonathan is a pedophile anymore. Fucking gold.
See, that's amazing because the way you phrase that also sounded like they were going to teach you how to hurt people with words. And then just slammed your brother down.
He was very, very fond of the younger students. I don't think he was a pedophile. I think he was just a nice guy, but he was very creepy. You're right there, buddy? Just digesting that one,
Just
are you?
one of those, like, not even suggesting that, just going, if you are defending a man with those words, you're not helping his case.
Yeah, I don't
Especially if you're 13 or whatever.
I do remember he was moved
He's
to
very
a
friendly, but
different...
he seems nice. He's a bit creepy, though. But he seems, like, I don't think he's up to anything. Like, okay, we're going to just take you out of here. Kill him. Take the shot. Like,
No, actually, he was ejected from that part of the Catholic Church and moved to a different facility because...
again, you are really, really not making this man's case.
Let me tell the story. 'Cause at the end of our formal,
Yep.
he was found drunk dancing on a table to the tune of Love Shack.
That's nothing.
Well, he's a representative of the Catholic Church. He can't be doing that sort
and
of
he's
shit.
finally representing him as having a bit of fucking fun. Like, I've definitely told this on here, but you'll appreciate it more. Because we had Father Dennis one time. We're doing our usual, walking in a crew of fuckwits around at night.
Yeah.
When we went night riding, there's a great one that I don't know if I've mentioned on here.
With the Night Rider.
Night riding. It's a absolute zero-cost fucking fun entertainment as a young kid. You get a big pack of dudes, like, or girls. Girls can have bikes too. Anybody can join. Anyway, the point is, the higher, the better. So I don't want to exclude anybody.
Yeah, group outing.
Group outing.
At night, presumably.
At night, many bikes as you can. Like, you're all on bikes. And you just
Hence
start...
the riding component, yes.
Yeah, so you all get together, then you all turn your lights off. And it works better in a country town because then you are practically invisible. You're just black shadows in the dark.
Yeah, no fucking street lights on every corner.
Exactly. Is where and you just start riding around as a big school of fish style, like bunch of people on bikes in the dark. And then the fun comes when the cops spot you. They throw the light on and you scatter like roaches. And they have to decide who to chase. And then you're on a bike chase. And then they catch you and you're like, well, oh, sorry, my lights were off. And then you just turn it back on. Oh, I wasn't even riding with that. I'm on my own. And just then we go do it again. See who gets pinned. Yeah, it's just good fun. Good, free fun. Always make sure your nicest friend gets caught, like kick his wheels out. Because he won't get in as much trouble.
Stick in the spokes.
Yeah, whatever it
Fuck you,
takes.
John.
One, he's usually not going to be the best rider. He's going to be a bit more meek, but he's going to get away with it easier from the cops.
Good
Not with
God,
his
man.
parents. They will destroy that young man. But you'll be fine. But no, that was a great bit of fun there.
I remember having a group of mates in Clayton when I was a young man, and it started off with sparkler bombs. I don't know if you ever made sparkler bombs.
Yeah.
And then
We didn't even used to know. I didn't know what the golf ball thing was.
And I had the golf ball. You mean the table tennis ball?
Yes.
Yeah. Because
I didn't know that was part of it. Yeah, see, I didn't know.
Fantastic fun.
Yeah, I found that out later. Ours was just you get as many sparklers as you got and as much duct tape as will go on.
Yeah, we did a coffee can of it once. Did get to have enough oxygen in it, so we experimented with a few bits and pieces. But
Just the straight sparkler on the duct tape. 'Cause it
thereafter,
pierces.
we all got into grass boarding because we all had a broken skateboard because everyone had a broken skateboard. And you literally just wax the bottom of it with a candle, and then in the morning dew, because there's a catchment area, and so there's a giant uplift of ground past one of the parks, and there's no one there. So you just jump into it and slide down it at mock speeds. And then we also figured out, you remember those little pop-top bottles you get as a kid?
Yeah.
Fill that with detergent, stick it in a notch at the front of the skateboard, and squeeze it out with your front foot as you're sliding down, and you go faster.
That's not bad. I do love, I think one of the best being broke activities that people just universally seem to get up to is going fast.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
Just in any way. I've never seen the ingenuity more than, what person who's just got a junkyard can do with a fucking two-stroke engine.
Oh, 100%. And even just, young kids modifying skateboards with no trucks on them just so that we can go down a fucking hill as fast as humanly possible.
There's literally, planned events where people race bins down hills.
Yeah.
It's a family event.
Have
Although it is now clean enough that you'd see, a politician go down and do it.
But things got more intense as we got a little bit older and we got more access to the internet and all the rest of it. And one of the guys found the Anarchist's cookbook. And I was doing chemistry at the time, so we got access to the required materials and we made thermite. And there was a dumpster out the back of the shopping centre. So we thought, it'll contain it. It'll contain the thermite.
Man, if anybody else is like me and just doing this thing where it's just I know how this story ends firsthand. So many people.
We melted the dumpster, the center of the dumpster.
Puts things in the
Yep.
It'll be fine. It's a big metal box.
Yep. It melted the bottom of the dumpster because it immediately just fucking turns everything to molten slag. It was the den of winter, and we were like, it's really hot, and we're 5 meters away from this thing. We should get the fuck out of here now. And there were police things up the next fucking week, looking for people that caused the damage to the dumpster at the back because it had welded it to the concrete. So they couldn't lift it anymore. So it just became a fixture out the back of the shops. They couldn't do anything about it.
Well, I mean, dig up the concrete, morons, but at the same time.
How? Because it's the center. So you'd have to dig out the width and length of the entire footing of that dumpster.
Yeah.
It was dead center. We just fused it to the thing. It was great.
You cut the whole thing around it and then cut the sides off to put back in, and then you just concrete the middle.
I think in the end they did resurface the area, and when they did, they ripped everything out, and people were out there with angle grinders doing all the rest of it. But that dumpster could not be moved for a period of 12 years, just fused to the concrete out the back.
Yeah, and that's one of those lovely ones where it lasts longer, which makes the joke even funnier.
Oh, yeah, I'd be walking to see my mate, and I'd be walking past that dumpster going, oh, shit, did someone see me laugh?
Even then, I was good enough at talking out of it, so, were you laughing at that? Did you? No, it's just funny. Look at it. Someone did that, and that's funny.
It's an impressionist piece of modern art.
But, yeah, I was saying with the roof tiles in our VCE area.
Yeah.
Just a fucking porcupine.
Throwing pens?
Pens.
Yep.
Just but we'd also pick a spot, right? Somebody's getting a bit more hit rate than everybody else. So
Yep.
All right, that's the square. So then you're taking longer shots, because now I'm throwing it.
Oh, it becomes a real life game of Peggle. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and so it ends up becoming like a sphere because everyone's throwing it from different angles. But the best is when your most reckless thrower of a friend is at the back or furthest away tile, and you're just copping stray pens from just any angle.
Is it? And it's always 1 in 5 suffers with the throwing, and which is not uncommon for some men to suffer from projectile dysfunction.
There he is. Some people try to just ram it in there because I have seen a fucking chair leg go through that fucking roof.
Oh.
Chairs go through when you are a teenager.
Finish your story. I got a story about someone throwing a chair that you're gonna love.
Well, my favorite one, because we had video footage of it, so it was so hilariously framed to me. But it's just my mate. He walked up and he tried to punch a hole in the wall, but just hits a beam.
Oh, so straight on the stud.
Yeah. And then you just hear him go, "Fuck!" Turns around, shakes his hand. He just grabs a chair and it just tears through the wall. That didn't hit the stand.
So
The video's just side on. You can just see the wall, so you just see him walk out of frame and the chair come back in. Beautiful.
So we had some math class or something like that, and the teacher was ill, so we got a substitute teacher. But he was a teacher from, like, he wasn't, they didn't hire a substitute teacher. He was just one of the guys that didn't have anything on at that particular period.
Yeah, spare.
So he came in and he just went, I don't know anything about your subject matter, and we're not following any of the rest of it. I'm just going to put this video on and grade these papers because that's what I'm supposed to be doing, so just don't be assholes. You know, like, you're getting a free period here. Let's just enjoy it, all right? But we were a rowdy...
You don't call attention to it, I might call attention to it.
Pretty much, yeah. And he was...
I did that deal with a lot of teachers.
But he wasn't a cool teacher. He was a bit of a strict hard ass, and none of us really liked him. So, you know, and we didn't want to watch whatever the hell he'd put on, so we were just fucking around doing stuff. And he kept yelling at us, and just losing his mind. Absolutely, and he was getting worse and worse to the point that I was even going, maybe we should just chill out because he's actively seething as he's now marking papers. I don't think this is going to end well for anybody. And someone called him a dickhead, and he started screaming at everybody. And somebody grabbed a giant wad of paper and threw it at the front of the room. Balled up A4 page.
Single page?
Just a single page.
Yeah.
But had scrunched it up so there was enough density in it. So it wasn't big, but it had some heft to it.
Yeah.
Threw it at
Enough
the front of
that
the
the
room.
chuck's not lobbed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's piffed it, and it's somehow, by some grace of comedic miracle, it hit the power button on the television and turned it off.
Very nice.
So we're all in an uproar. Yay! Absolute, the best thing in the world. And he was so angry, he picked up a chair and threw it at the class. It didn't hit anybody because we all went, fuck, and ducked underneath. But he picked up a goddamn metal frame chair, steel chair, and threw it at a bunch of students. He calmed down, apologized profusely, and just went, let's never discuss this ever again. Yeah, I know. And we didn't say shit because we thought it was fantastic. It came up, someone mentioned it at our, end of year thing, and, the next week he was fired because he'd thrown a chair at children and then tried to cover it up.
If he'd thrown it at the whiteboard, out the window.
No, it's dead center, straight down the class. People ducked underneath desks and it skimmed across. No one got hurt, and we all just went, that was fucking amazing.
That's fucked up. And I think the worst bit is more the secret afterwards. All right, kids. You're going to learn today.
He was still shaking from the fucking adrenaline and the rage that he'd been feeling. Just, all right, guys, I think we should just forget any of this has happened. No one's getting a detention. Just leave it at that, all right? And then just sat down, did his work, and none of us made a fucking peep for the next 20 minutes or whatever it was.
See, this is the worst thing. We make the peep. That is, if anything, we're all silently pulling at our chain. Just fucking, no, which one of us is going to get to do it? And it better be good. You know, it's just like... she is just...
No, we had the fear of God in us at that point. We were absolutely terrified.
We were just, the other school we thought of as, a prison. Our school was just... the halfway house, on the way out. It wasn't that much better. People would get expelled from the other school and then come to our school. I'm like, how does that work? Because then we'd expel people, they go to the other one. It was just this weird exchange of prisoners.
Jesus Christ. So you're just passing notes in class. You're just passing students
They're
back and forth.
the next school is 3.5 hours away. So I guess you can just move over to the other one.
I mean, yeah, and a lot of the guys that were expelled, 2 weeks later, you'd be at SSC Sport or whatever the fuck it was, and you're like, hey, man, how you been?
Well, he still lived in Benalla, where I could walk to everywhere. It's like, I'll see him at the lake when we're drinking.
I mean, sure, he used to go to school here in Chatty, but he only lives in Oakley, and now he's going to De La Salle or something like that. So we're just going to see him in a couple of weeks' time.
Exactly. I'll see him at the chip shop. Fucking up late at the chicken shop, mate. You see everybody there. Anybody out after midnight hits the chicken shop in Benalla, you did. I don't know what the setup is there.
Charcoal chicken?
No, just the chicken shop.
Really?
I don't know if it had a name. It was just a place where they sold chicken.
So I
and the
always
pizza
used to
ovens
think
that were left
the
from
charcoal
next door.
chicken was a franchise of some description, but I don't think it is.
No, I think it's just a description
Just
of what
the
you get.
generic term, like milk bar.
Yeah, You go there, you get charcoal chicken.
I don't know if they're still open, but I need to look into this, actually. There used to be a very small franchise called the Carvery.
Mm-hmm.
You would fucking love the Carvery. All they do is roast meats, crackling.
Sounds familiar.
It's so
It
good.
may have been mentioned before to me.
It's so good. We need to find a Carvery at some point. Because
I
they
will
do
actually continue with that real quick.
scallop potatoes in mass.
I haven't made... Fuck, you've just reminded me I haven't made scallop potatoes in yonks. But I'm just going to do this pause now, because then
Yep,
I'll... Yeah, pausing.
The RSPCA for all creatures, great and small.
And we're back. Just when you were like recommended the Carvery before, it did remind me of like a clear divide I feel like about whether or not you're on the rich side or poorer side of things. When you think of your ideal meal, how much is it to do
Stroganoff.
with quantity?
Oh, no, it's I batch made like a couple of kilos of stroganoff the other day. And stroganoff was one of those famous dishes that was in like a Women's Weekly that every single mum made.
Mm-hmm.
But because it was cheap ingredients, easy to put together,
Yep.
knock it up.
It's up there with the lasagna. They're going to throw it together.
Lasagna takes more work, though. Like a
Not if you
lot.
just buy the fucking sheets.
Yeah, no, very true. Or you just buy the fucking lasagna, which happened quite a few times when I was a kid as well.
Yeah.
Mum would put a
But the
salad
one for
on
the oven, we're not microwave lasagna. People.
No. So, but yeah,
Please.
Mum would always
I don't
put a
want
salad.
sausages again.
Mum would always put a salad next to the lasagna that would inevitably be ignored.
Oh, did you get the same definition of salad, which is leaves, grated carrot, and cheese?
Yes. Yeah. No vinaigrette.
No?
Maybe some olive oil if we were feeling ritzy.
Oh, see, we wouldn't have the olive oil or anything ever. It was just you would get some sliced onion in there every now and
Actually, here's the true litmus test.
again.
The true litmus test of whether or not you...
I've got a couple because I've been working this. It's more like
I don't know. This is 100...
contributing factors.
This is 100% your thing. So maybe not the true litmus test, but a very good
it's on the
litmus test.
ADHD style checklist.
So, the Women's Day birthday cake book. Yeah, you with me?
I know the one.
Yep.
If you were too broke to get any of those cakes made for you, you're in tier 3. If you got the cakes, tier 2. If your parents were too good for it and they just took you to the Cheesecake Factory, kill yourself. No, don't.
That got very dark very quick. Jesus.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of...
How do we go from, if your parents are paying for Cheesecake Factory, you deserve suicide? Well, I suppose you don't deserve suicide. You just sort of act it out, don't
It's
you?
the most elitist tier, so it doesn't apply to all of them, but you got to, make the suggestion.
No, Mum was always, she would bake from scratch.
Yep.
But that's because the ingredients cost fucking nothing and she had time.
Oh, yeah, man. Eggs, flour, and sugar are fucking cheap. All you need is whatever meat is the most discounted. It's like
The birthday's coming up. Go through the birthday cake book and pick out a cake.
Oh no, it was you got what you just plain cake, some icing, numbers on top. That's what you fucking get. That's what you fucking deserve.
You got numbers?
Oh yeah, we had numbers.
No, we
but
just
we had a box with all of the numbers in it. Cause
No, we didn't have that. We just had the spiral coloured stick fucking cheapo guys.
Oh yeah, we had those, and all of these getting reused, of course.
Oh, no, 100%.
The candle box.
Yeah, the candle box. That's absolutely a thing. Right next to the
Yep.
battery box.
Yep.
And you got in a lot of trouble if you put a dead battery in the battery box.
Yeah, but how's he gonna know it was me?
And that was the thing. I was the youngest and wasn't as savvy as my older brothers. So it was always, no, it wasn't me. It must have been the middle one. No, it wasn't me. It must have been the youngest. Did you put a battery? I don't know. You little shit. I learnt my lesson very quickly, though.
I was a keen observer, and my brother hated it. like my older brother, because he's like, yeah, you'd always just be like fucking, weaseling your way out of shit. And I'm like, yeah, it's way easier than fucking what you were doing. You go with the river and you hop out when you hit land as quickly as you can. Whereas he's like, nah, I'm going to fucking dam the river. Like, that's so much harder, man. Don't fight the river. Just get out of it as soon as you can. But no, as this show's been going, it's been like, there is a checklist going down that's sort of been created. And I was going to mention some before, because like I've got Oz-Star Box was a big one when I was growing up.
Oz-Star Box?
Oz-Star, like cable.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
You remember those?
Yeah,
Oz-Star
we
was the
never
one out
had-
country-wise.
We never had pay-per-view or any of that sort of stuff. We didn't
Neither
have
did we.
Foxtel, we didn't have Starview.
Well, that was the thing. We'd go around to like visit my cousins, and they'd have it.
Yeah,
Or
my
like
mother's
you'd go
side
to
of
somebody,
the family
or you go to somebody's house and they have two.
My mother's side of the family were financially well endowed, so to speak. So you go to Christmas around their joint, and you what the fucking how do you have a normal Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, a Sega Mega Drive, and like 3 other? How do you have everything?
And how is it impolite of me to not play them because I'm meant to hang out with you? Like, it's a family gathering. You're meant to be hanging out with people, not playing games.
No, I got little brother controlled a lot. You know,
Ah,
when it's not plugged in. No. You're moving the ducks in Duck Hunt. You're moving the ducks.
No chance, man. I knew exactly what was going on. My brother, he still brings it up every now and again. The day that I got better than him at Street Fighter.
No, I was good at
Or
Street
more
Fighter.
infuriatingly to him, the first time I tried to teach him a control that he taught me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's mansplaining at its finest right there.
Yeah, just like, oh man, here's how you do it. He goes, I know how to fucking do it. But luckily at the time also going, then why did you fucking lose? Oh. I got very good at throwing shade real quick. But also it was a great defense.
So what was your sibling arrangement? Because I know your older brother, you had a sister as well, didn't you, and a younger brother?
2 older, 1 younger.
Yep.
It is funny. I've recently been describing it more as, I've got mostly black siblings. It's 2 and 2, but from my perspective, it's mostly black.
How is it mostly black?
Because I have 1 white sibling and 2 black siblings.
Okay, fair enough.
But if you look at us like externally, it's 2 and 2. But it's more fun for me to be able to say I've got more black siblings because it just throws people a little bit off.
Because mum and dad, and this is my all-time favorite fucking story in the world.
Mums.
No, my mum and dad. She was still married to my father, hadn't moved.
So I wasn't sure if this was at mums and dad at this point.
For the audience, currently I have 2 mothers and a father. But at the time it was just
and a
mum
sister
and
and a brother.
No sisters. Only the 2 older brothers.
Right,
And the sister bit's the part. Because they went, let's have a kid. Excellent. Have a kid. We got a boy. Let's have another kid. We'd like a girl. Had another boy. We'll go for the 3rd one. Sure enough.
It's as close as we'll get.
I came out a boy, and the next thing my mother said was, go get a vasectomy. So Dad, no, this is fantastic.
And then she had a girl.
So Dad worked at the Alfred. So he contacted...
If you know what I mean.
He contacted the local surgeon and said, hey,
He used
mate,
to pierce people's dicks.
you reckon you can give me the chop? I don't think it'll be a problem for you. I mean, what's the vas deferens? Hey!
He said, well, we don't need to take the whole thing.
Finished
It's more
the
of a
shift.
snip than a chop.
Went down to surgery, and Doc went, yep, jump in. We'll give you the local. It'll knock you out and do all the rest of it. Dad
Undoes the zip at the bottom of the balls that we all know is there.
And he said, look, when you wake up, just stay in a hospital for observation for 24 hours. And Dad went, yep, not a problem, mate. So Dad wakes up in a hospital bed, gets out of said hospital bed, gets dressed, exits the building, gets into his car, drives all the way. Dad never made it home. So Mum gets a call from the Alfred Hospital to say, Peter Bleeser's left his bed. We don't know where he is. Has he gone home? And Mum said, well, he's not here. So she bundles up the kids and baby me and drives Dad's route to the Alfred Hospital, thinking he's in a ditch somewhere and all of the rest of it. Sure enough, she spots his Holden Commodore in the parking lot of a pub.
Of course. He crashed.
fuming with rage,
Yes.
sends my older brother in, just says, "Go fucking get him."
What a move. Send the child in to have your fucking domestic.
My older brother walks up to
You tell him.
my older brother walks up to my dad.
You tell her.
He's still groggy because he's post-operative after having his vestibular's cut out. He's got a few pints in him. And apparently, my dad just looked down and went, "Oh, hello, little Nicky. My balls." It's his opening fucking line.
It's too bad the name was in there because I was hoping he'd just say that as if a stranger had just walked up to him. My balls hurt. Man, you look sort of like me. Out of it.
Nicholas and I look alike. Matthew looks like you took mum's head and shoved it on dad's body, but we look nothing like our parents. They're short and a bit rotund. But
I was always the same. Because once I was a teenager, I was already taller than him.
yeah, because you're quite a stocky build, and your father's quite a small frame.
He's a small frame, but he is broad.
Oh, yeah, he is broad. I'm not saying he's not muscular. He is a very, very tough-looking bloke.
Now he's gone wiry in his old age. It's like anything that was on the outside is gone.
That's the descriptor right there. He is 100% wiry.
But he's still, he's a broad-chested man, and especially when he had the weight on, he was hilarious. Because, like, the arms fill out, so it looks like, Popeye arms, because they're still working as hard. But then just like a pregnant cat.
See, my dad, very, very dark black hair.
Yep.
All over his body. And as he got older, it started to grey. So he got Pepe Le Pew, salt and pepper, and quite distinguished. Like, he looked like the father from The Nanny, just a bit heftier.
Ah, bit of Mr. Sheffield.
Yeah, a bit of Mr. Sheffield. But I very, very rudely started referring to him as the silverback gorilla because his back hair started, and he's got that build. He sort of walks around on his knuckles.
See, I got lucky with that, or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, because I do have that build. But weirdly, the bit that you would describe as the hunched bit is entirely hairless. But I do have a weird little ring, sort of like the Batman logo.
So, and this is a.
It looks like I've leaned against a wall that had wet paint, and it.
Is this like when you're trying to find a Korok in the Zelda games, and there's that bald bit of grass? Does it look like that?
Kinda, yeah. But because your back's not entirely flat, it looks like the pattern where if I leant against a wall where there was wet paint.
Oh my God.
Like, the area that would have paint on it, there's just no hair.
And is it a factor of friction, or is it just a bald patch in the middle of your back?
No idea. My little brother recently sent me a picture of his back, and he doesn't have the same issue. Don't ask follow-up questions.
Fair enough.
We
I
have an
can't grow
interesting
back
relationship.
hair. I can barely grow chest hair. I get a little tuft in the middle. But ass crack hair. Oh, mate. I'd need
that's the thing.
I'd need a whippersnipper in about 8 days to clear out that fucking thicket.
Well, it's like when you see people like that, it's like gravity's just hit you. All the body hairs just sort of move down to where, like the natural grain of things that just follows down your back.
Oh, there's no grain. There's no grain.
No. It's finished following the grain. Like, it's all just... It has migrated south. There's no switch back.
No, mate. This is a blackberry bush like you've never seen before.
You sit on the toilet and it just makes the Velcro sound.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That was way too accurate.
We should probably wrap it up there, man. Do you have anything you want to plug? I'm assuming you didn't, seeing I didn't check it all.
I get a little bit uncomfortable when we have a discussion about my arse and then you use the word plug. But no, I don't have anything that
Why?
No, I don't have anything to plug.
Oh.
I'm a horrible shut-in these days. I'm waiting to be isekai'd by Truck-kun.
Oh, that's all right. I did my whole, hermit with fucking hobbies trend that kind of went a
I
bit
know
off.
I've got one of your paintings on my wall.
Yes. The one that you felt need to take down for an inspection.
I didn't take it down. I would never take it down. As a
I'm
matter of
also
fact,
not going to describe it. So then people
the house
have to guess what
inspection.
it is.
I get upset when a house inspection comes because all the dildos go missing. We keep them on display for humorous version.
Missing.
I don't move them
Okay, right.
unless the cats.
Moved is somebody moving them is fine, but missing implies that the real estate agent takes them if you don't hide them.
Oh yeah, that's even funnier. Leave us a Yelp review after the house inspection.
Man, if they called you out for having, like, you know, scratches on the walls after stealing your fist-shaped dildo.
The guy I just helped move, he did tell me a funny story with how bad his apartment's been.
Mm-hmm.
His last inspection, he couldn't get the day off work, and he couldn't be asked moving or hiding anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he shaped all of his bongs at the front entrance in the shape of a dick. Because he knew he was leaving anyway. Could you imagine coming in for a house inspection? You work as an agent, you open the door, and there's a series of bongs on the floor in the shape of a cock. Hats off to that, man. That's beautiful.
Well, yeah, if I was in that person's shoes, I'd weep because I'm a real estate agent, but I only do rentals, so I don't even get big commissions.
Fuck that person. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Fuck them. I like the bong guy. But you can follow me at TechieWebby on Instagram. That's going to be your best place. I'm probably going to set up an Instagram for the actual show because then I don't keep bothering my friends. You can also email us at brokeandhome@gmail.com, and the audio versions of the podcast are either where you've already found them or just anywhere else you get your podcast, really. But thanks again for coming, man. Really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me. This has been a veritable Who's That of comedy.
Well, I say thanks for coming. I've come to your house, and the sun has slowly set behind us romantically.
I think the vista was actually quite beautiful, to be entirely honest.
Well, it's good because now I can, if I do it, if you do a time lapse of the episode, you get to see the sun setting. Or people can just watch the whole thing, actually.
Yeah, don't condense it down to 12 seconds. They might miss some of the content.
Yeah, or the whole thing. And you don't get a 10-minute block. Anyway, thanks, guys. That's all.